Under worsening economic pressure, some of the biggest fast food chains in America are struggling to stay afloat. Many chains are being forced to shut down dozens of restaurants as consumers become more price sensitive. Without further ado, here are 15 fast food chains being financially eviscerated in 2024. Number 15, Starbucks. The popular coffee shop chain has been going through a pretty rough patch lately. After reporting its earnings results, the company saw a 7% drop in same-store sales in the US and a 4% decline in transactions. Moreover, Starbucks stock fell more than 12% in a single day. Laxman cited economic volatility and more hesitant spending from consumers as some of the reasons behind the bleak numbers. The coffeehouse chain also shut down dozens of locations, aiming to cut costs, but federal regulators believe at least 1/4 of such closings were conducted to prevent workers from unionizing. And now, workers are suing the company and demanding the stores be reopened. Number 14, KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken has seen better days in America. While the business is seemingly flourishing in China, conditions have been unforgiving at home. Higher costs for labor, supplies, and ingredients have taken a big dent on the chain's profits for several quarters. The most recent earnings numbers show that things have not improved. KFC's same-store sales plunged by 7%, and customer traffic fell by 5.4% during the quarter. CEO David Gibbs admitted during a May 1st call with investors that the chain has been struggling in the United States. He blamed this decline on fierce competition from rival chicken chains and slowing economic activity in the country. At the moment, the management is working to completely reset the KFC brand and adapt to the market's changing preferences. Number 13, McDonald's. Not even the largest fast food chain in the world is 100% safe in the current macroeconomic scenario. According to CEO Chris Kempczynski, the burger giant has been falling out of favor with its lower-income customers. The executive revealed that consumers who earn $45,000 or less per year have been visiting the chain less often because eating at home is a more affordable choice. The same is true for middle-income customers. When they do stop at McDonald's for a meal, they are ordering fewer items and opting for cheaper options. The decline in demand has been hurting sales, which is prompting the company to come up with a contingency plan before things get any worse. After raising prices by over 10% in the past year alone and facing increasing criticism about the cost of Egg McMuffins and hash browns, McDonald's will launch new value deals, which include meal bundles, breakfast discounts, and entry-level menu items at affordable price points in order to bring more people in. Number 12, Sizzler. Buffett steakhouses had their time and place, but as the segment continues to lose popularity, Sizzler's sales are plummeting all across the country. The restaurant has been scrambling to stay afloat for years. Currently, less than 100 locations exist nationwide, with revenue losses rendering many of the few remaining locations unprofitable. 2024 may become the year their last steak is sizzled. Number 11, Red Lobster. The most famous seafood chain in America has filed for bankruptcy just a couple of weeks ago. In a press release announcing the filing, CEO Jonathan Tibus cited several financial and operational challenges, such as higher food and labor costs and significant operating losses. The chain also announced that it will close about 10% of its locations, or about 60 restaurants, by the end of the year. According to Bloomberg, Chapter 11 will allow Red Lobster to restructure its business by renegotiating its debt and getting rid of unprofitable investments. But analysts say that the bankruptcy filing was only the latest sign of trouble for the company. Parent company Thai Union Group announced plans to divest from the chain in January, pointing to its prolonged negative financial contributions. CEO Thirafong Chansiri admitted in an earnings call they're not expecting to get anything much from the sale. Number 7, Steak and Shake. After nearly 200 closings over the past few years, Steak and Shake seems to be slowly dying before our eyes. Mash.com reports that customer traffic has been dwindling for several consecutive quarters, falling by 7.7% this year alone. Same-store sales also dropped by 5.1%, following 5 previous years of sales losses. That represents a year-over-year decline of a whopping $18.9 million in profits, which is leaving the chain at risk of going under. Number 9, Outback Steakhouse. Bloomin' Brands, the parent company of Outback Steakhouse, has announced the closure of 41 locations this year. This decision considered a variety of factors, including sales and traffic, trade areas, and the investments that would have been made to improve the restaurants. CEO Dave Dino highlighted during the company's latest earnings call that recent numbers show the chain's same-store sales and traffic declined both domestically and globally. In the US, sales went down by 4.3%, forcing the restaurant to rethink its brick-and-mortar footprint. Number 8, Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings has been serving food to its game-watching guests since 1982, but unfortunately, it seems to be losing its appeal after several controversies. First, there was the court appearance over serving chicken breast disguised as boneless wings. Then, all of its Canadian locations were shut down. They had also closed most of their U.S. restaurants for underperforming and underpaying their staff. Unless there's a significant turnaround in the near future, Buffalo Wild Wings may soon be gone for good. Number 6. Popeyes. Popeyes has been struggling financially since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. When Americans were confined to their homes, Popeyes lacked drive-through lanes to keep serving its customers, and that resulted in million-dollar losses that are still impacting its bottom line today. Earlier this month, another Popeyes franchisee filed for bankruptcy following the bankruptcy of Premier Cajun Kings, which went belly up in 2023 after several challenges. The owners, Mark Renault and Jane Renault, said that the decision was because a few locations were dragging the rest down. They said that the restaurants had significantly lost money and caused a financial burden on the continued operation of the remaining locations, which led the franchisee to fall behind on lease payments of remaining profitable restaurants, and they need to cure those arrears to avoid lease termination. Number 5. Joe's Crab Shack. Seafood chain. Joe's Crab Shack is only a shell of its former self. At one point, the company was publicly traded on the U.S. stock market, but now it's on the verge of disappearance. According to restaurant insiders, rising competition and higher operational costs have led the chain to sharply reduce its size from well over 100 locations to just 30 restaurants today. Sadly, more closings are on the horizon. The report reveals roughly 20% of the restaurants still in operation are expected to close doors this year. Number 4. Quiznos. The home of the toasted sub, Quiznos, is going through one of the most dramatic restaurant chain declines the industry has ever witnessed. At its peak, the fast casual chain had over 4,700 locations around the world. In 2024, only 200 of them are still open. Decades of bad business practices have contributed to its rapid downfall. While rivals like Subway and Panera Bread have been quick to adapt to consumers' changing preferences, Quiznos continued to rely on the same old formula, failing to stay current with new trends and implement strategies to boost its revenue. Amid lost sales and profitability issues, Quiznos has entered the bankruptcy watch list again. The company has already gone bankrupt once in 2014 when it had $875 million in loan obligations. This time around, Quiznos has much smaller operations, which can make investors question whether or not the chain will be worth saving. Number 3. Fuddruckers. In business for more than 3 decades, Fuddruckers' days may be numbered. Despite priding itself on having the world's greatest hamburgers, customers don't seem too impressed by the chain nowadays. The fast food company has closed so many locations that it's now down to 60 spots to get a fresh bun and a grilled patty. In 2020, the company went bankrupt and revealed a total liquidation plan after being hit hard by the pandemic. But following several negotiations, the company decided to remain operational in some states. However, fans should probably visit their local Fuddruckers restaurants while they still can, because considering how things are going for the chain, they may not last for another year. Number 2. Corner Bakery. Also victimized by the repercussions of the health crisis, Corner Bakery is trying to re-emerge from bankruptcy, but current economic headwinds aren't helping. Over the past 3 years, the cafe chain closed a quarter of its restaurants due to financial issues. In 2024, the outlook remains uncertain. With many people now working from home, Corner Bakery is seeing its clientele shrink and sales go down. As reported by Restaurant Business, system-wide sales fell 4.3% for Corner Bakery during the first quarter. The entire bakery cafe segment is facing a downturn, which can compromise the chain's recovery down the line. Number 1. Old Country Buffet. With just 13 locations remaining from its height of 600, Old Country Buffet has been on the downswing, and that's in large part due to repeated bankruptcy filings. First, there was 2008, then 2012, then 2016, and just when you wondered how many times one company can file for bankruptcy, there was 2021. It's unclear why they haven't pulled the plug completely yet, but experts say this could be the year. Old Country Buffet will be gone this year. Number 6. Kona Grill. Things have been difficult for Kona Grill for quite a while now. In 2019, the restaurant chain filed for bankruptcy due to large and unmanageable debt. It was rescued by a buyer, the conglomerate One Group Hospitality. The new parent company decided to close down a significant number of underperforming locations to improve the chain's financial results. However, Kona Grill hasn't been able to reverse the negative trend. Instead, conditions have only gotten more complicated for the company this year. The restaurant franchise saw a 14% drop in customer traffic and a 99.7% drop in same-store sales. According to its latest earnings report, with about 1/4 of its locations reporting declining revenue, Kona is also facing some serious issues with its profits. So that was the end of our list. The next time you visit your favorite restaurant, things may look a little bit different. Each restaurant on this list is facing unique challenges, and they're doing what they can to get ahead financially. But will they survive? Only time will tell.